Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to my class. This is the chemistry class for the students of Standard 10. Today our topic is chemistry in agriculture and industries. In this session, we will learn about some chemicals which are used in agriculture. Chemistry in agriculture. The fertility of soil is enhanced by applying different kinds of mineral resource like calcium carbonate and chemical substances like urea, ammonium sulfate, acetylene produced in industries. In this session, we will learn about calcium carbonate, urea, ammonium sulfate and acetylene. We will read here the preparation method, the uses and function of these chemicals. At first, limestone, calcium carbonate. Limestone is a mineral resource. We have no need to produce limestone in industry. In our country, huge amount of limestone is found in Sunamganj and Saint Martin Island. Look, in our country, huge quantities of limestone is found in Sunamganj district and Saint Martin Island. If the soil becomes acidic, then limestone is added in the soil in order to reduce the acidity. Limestone, it is a salt, but it is a basic salt. Why? Because the aqueous solution of limestone produces strong base calcium hydroxide and weak acid carbonic acid. So, it is a basic salt. When the acidity of the soil is increased, then limestone is used in the soil to reduce the acidity. Because limestone reacts with the hydrogen ion of the soil and it produces calcium ion, carbon dioxide and water. As a result, the acidity of the soil is reduced. Look the reaction. Here limestone reacts with hydrogen ion and produces calcium ion, carbon dioxide and water. Limestone is also used in cement industry because it is the main element for producing cement. Now urea. All you know about urea. Urea is a fertilizer. Urea is essential fertilizer for the growth of the plant. Urea is a valuable material. It is an important fertilizer from where plants get their essential nutrients. Its chemical formula is NH2CO, NH2. It looks like white colored powder or crystal like powder. It looks like this. Preparation of urea. Urea is produced by using ammonia and carbon dioxide in industry. There are only two ingredients, ammonia and carbon dioxide, used to produce urea. At first, when the mixture of ammonia and carbon dioxide is heated at a high pressure and 130 to 150 degrees Celsius temperature, ammonium carbamate is produced. Later, the ammonium carbamate is broken and urea is produced. Look, at first carbon dioxide and ammonia, this mixture is heated and ammonium carbamate is produced. Now this ammonium carbamate is broken and produce urea and water. In this way, urea is produced in industry by using ammonia and carbon dioxide gas. Uses of urea. Urea is widely used in industries and agriculture. Urea is used in agriculture as well as in industries. In agriculture, urea is used as fertilizer. But how urea is used in industries? Look, in previous chapter we learned that urea is used to produce a polymer, urea formaldehyde resin, where urea and formaldehyde mixes to produce this polymer, this is also called melamine. So here melamine polymer, that is urea formaldehyde resin, is prepared by using urea in industries. Urea is used as fertilizer in agriculture. Urea is applied to soil so that plants can get enough nitrogen nutrients from the urea fertilizer. Look, nitrogen is an essential element for the plants because plants need nitrogen for their growth, and plants cannot take nitrogen from the air. In air there are huge amount of nitrogen, but plants cannot take directly nitrogen from there. So urea, it is nitrogenous fertilizer, and plants can get nitrogen from this urea fertilizer. Look, plants do not take nitrogen directly from air. In presence of urease enzyme in soil, there is an enzyme urease. Urease enzyme, in presence of urease enzyme, urea reacts with water and produces ammonium ion, hydroxyl ion, and carbon dioxide. Plants absorb this ammonium ion. Look the reaction. Here, in presence of urease enzyme, urea reacts with water and they produce ammonium ion, hydroxyl ion, and carbon dioxide. This ammonium ion is absorbed by the plants, and plants get their essential element nitrogen from there. Now another one, ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is also used in agriculture. It is also an essential ingredient for the plants. Plants can get two nutrients from ammonium sulfate, nitrogen and also sulfur. Ammonium sulfate is a white crystalline acidic salt. Ammonium sulfate is a salt. It is acidic salt and it is white crystalline salt. It is widely used in agriculture. Its chemical formula is NH42SO4. Look, it is crystal-like substance, white colored crystal, and it is marketed as a fertilizer in different package. Preparation of ammonium sulfate. Ammonia reacts with sulfuric acid and produces ammonium sulfate and water. Ammonia reacts with sulfuric acid and produces ammonium sulfate and water. In this way, ammonium sulfate is produced. Uses of ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfate is widely used in agriculture. It is an acidic salt. Why? Look, ammonium sulfate, when it is given, then aqueous solution of ammonium sulfate, it produces strong acid, sulfuric acid, and weak base, ammonium hydroxide. So it is an acidic salt. When the amount of alkali increases in soil, then ammonium sulfate is used in soil to decrease the amount of alkali. It is a very important nutrient for plant. Plants receive nitrogen and sulfur from it. Now, chemicals in processing agricultural commodities. What is agricultural commodities? Fruits, vegetables, fishes, etc. are called agricultural commodities. The process through which agricultural commodities are kept fresh for a long time is called processing of agricultural commodities. Now, to keep these agricultural commodities fresh, different types of substances are used. Some are good for these commodities and some are not good. We will learn about these chemicals that are used to process these agricultural commodities in this class. Using of calcium carbide. Calcium carbide, this is used to ripen the fruits. You know, you heard that carbide is used to ripen the mangoes. Actually, carbide, it does not work to ripen the mangoes. Carbide, it is calcium carbide, CaC2. Calcium carbide, you know, acetylene is produced from calcium carbide. This acetylene gas, it is responsible for ripening the fruits. Water solution of calcium carbide is used on green mangoes to ripen them. Actually, acetylene is produced by the reaction of calcium carbide and water. This acetylene gas helps the mangoes to ripen. Look, when calcium carbide is given in green mangoes, then there is water spread and calcium carbide reacts with this water and produce acetylene gas. This acetylene gas, it is responsible to ripen these mangoes. Look a picture, look the reaction here. Calcium carbide reacts with water and it produces acetylene gas and calcium hydroxide. This is acetylene gas, acetylene or ethylene. It is used to ripen the fruits. Look this picture. These are calcium carbide. Calcium carbide, these are used on these mangoes and this is green mango and these are used and water is spraying there. So, calcium carbide reacts with this water and acetylene is produced from there. Acetylene is responsible for ripening them. Merits and demerits of using calcium carbide. Calcium carbide, this is a very harmful chemical for our health. But why these are used to ripen the fruits? Use of chemicals has both merit and demerit. If ripe mangoes are transported from one place to another, then these mangoes get spot and people do not want to buy these spotted mangoes. When mangoes are transported from one place to another, then ripe mangoes, it cannot be transported because if ripe mangoes are transported from one place to another, then these mangoes get spotted and people do not want to buy these spotted mangoes. So the unconscious and dishonest traders buy green mangoes and use excess calcium carbide to ripen these mangoes. But acetylene and calcium carbide both have negative impact on our body. They cause a great harm to us. Now, agricultural commodities are preserved by ice, table salt, vinegar, etc. There are no harmful effect of using these things. For example, fishes are preserved by ice. Vinegar is used to preserve tomatoes, green mangoes, etc. in containers. Vinegar is a safe preservative. So if it enters our body with food, it does not harm us. Foods should not be preserved by formalin because it is a harmful material for us. We may even die if formalin enters our body. Now, some recommended food preservatives. The chemical substances which protect food items from bacteria, bad smell and decay are called food preservatives. The preservatives which are approved by the World Health Organization, or shortly it is called WHO, and do not harm our body are called recommended food preservatives. Which are recommended food preservatives? The preservatives which are approved by who and which do not harm our body. These food preservatives are called recommended food preservatives. Some recommended food preservatives are sodium benzoate, benzoic acid, vinegar, and solutions of salt, sugar, etc. are recommended food preservatives. And the preservatives which harm our body are called unauthorized food preservatives. For example, acetylene, formalin, etc. are unauthorized food preservatives. So, one should not use acetylene, carbide, formalin, these things for preserving the food items. But if sodium benzoate, but there is some limit amount, sodium benzoate, benzoic acid, vinegar, salt solution, sugar solution, these are recommended food preservatives and they do not do any harm to our body. Industrial disposal and environment pollution. Industrial disposals pollute the environment. In Bangladesh, tannery, paint and pesticide industries dispose different kinds of heavy metal such as chromium, lead, mercury, cadmium, etc. as industrial effluent. These heavy metals enter the soil and water. From there, they also enter the plants and grow on this soil. Plants that grow on this soil, and they also enter in our body through food chain and damage our kidney and liver. Again, huge quantity of caustic soda are emitted from soap and detergent industries into the soil and water. As a result, the alkalinity of water and soil is increased and aquatic animals and plants cannot live in water properly. So, dear students, today up to this, already we have completed our chapter and also our this book. So, next class I will come with exercise and some question answer from this chapter. This class will be our last class. So, goodbye everyone. Thank you for this class. See you in the next class.